I've been using local AI models for coding for about a week now, ever since we started this series. And here's kind of how it went. There was a couple, or more than a couple, there's quite a few surprises actually. Um, and to be honest, since this is an experience and hosting these models locally, to be honest, there have only been really two models, three models of the ones that I tried that were good. Um, the others were quite surprising. I'm not sure if it's just something on my end. If I didn't set, I don't know what setup there is other than what was done. But yeah, the results were quite surprising, not in a good way. Okay, so you can see here I have quite a few models locally that I've tried out. Now, not all of these I use for coding, right? The Llama and the DeepSeek R1 model, those are reasoning models. I didn't use those for coding, but pretty much everything else I've tried with coding. So, uh, like one thing I tried when I first started was I just tried, seeing what other people have been saying about which models were good and to try out, right? And what surprised me the most, I would say, is DeepSeek Coder. I know it's a very lightweight model, but I mean, the coding results I would get from it were very, very, very like lackluster, to be honest. Code that it would give me back was not, what I was looking for, even though I tried to keep, prompts, very accurate and clear as to what I was, looking for, and instructions very clear. Responses were very simple and not really what I was going for when it came to coding. And this was kind of the biggest shock because I don't know why lots of people online were saying this is great, this is an excellent model. So, and please, if you are, watching this, please let me know what you think about this model because this has been the biggest surprise given how many people spoke so highly of this model. Other than that, there's been a couple of others, some of which I've tried that code responses were formatted very strange and such. So like that, kind of automatically disqualified them. Maybe they were, really good models, but I wasn't able to get them working for some reason. Uh, so that kind of went for, I think, Star Coder. I heard was really good, but that's one of the ones I was talking about. I couldn't get to work for some reason. I'm not sure why. And I think one other that I am not seeing right now. Other than that, so the ones I ended up using, the ones I really liked, and I was very surprised with. So the first one I tried that I thought was good was codellama. Now the only problem with codellama is that it's a heavier model. Where is it? Yeah, codellama. It's a heavier model, so responses are pretty slow, but the responses are accurate and follow the instructions given in the prompt. So that's a huge plus. And I mean, what I was prompting for was not very, very, very simple tasks. Again, we talked about DeepSeek Coder. Granite4 Tiny is the one I actually use the most. So it used to be qwen2.5-coder. So after codellama, I liked using it, but it was very heavy. So I was looking for something lighter, and I came across qwen2.5-coder next. qwen2.5-coder was a really light model, so responses were really fast, and results were pretty accurate. I did have to be quite clear and spell out in the prompt, what the solution I'm aiming for. So that there was a bit of a downside with that. Like if I felt like if I left any leeway in the response, it would lead the answer astray as to what I was looking for. So that was kind of a downside to that. I felt like I was prompting quite a bit. But otherwise, like when I discovered this, I started using this a lot more than codellama because the efficiency of it and the overall decent responses that I was getting. That was until I found this model. So of the Granite suite, I found this to be the best because responses were very fast and very accurate. This I was the most surprised with, and this is the one I use now the most. Responses are great. The prompting is relatively easy. Overall, just a lot more of a comfortable experience. Because one of the things is you don't want to, when you're using these, you don't want to worry about, is the model always giving me, an accurate answer? Yes, you're gonna review, but you don't want to just like you don't want that. It's like having someone working with you that is prone to errors. You don't want to constantly worry about them. So this is what I enjoyed the most, Granite4 Tiny. And I can link the pages to them in the description, how you can get each of these. And while we're here, I will mention you might have seen another one. I haven't tried this one yet. I just tried this one just to see the 8 billion parameter, and that crashed my Visual Studio Code. So this is too heavy for my machine, which makes sense because the 7 billion parameter was already, it seemed like that was already hitting the max. But I haven't tried this one yet much just yet. I've been very impressed with this model. So kind of the next thing that a lot of people might be wondering about hosting these locally is how do they compare to what you either free tier or what you pay for when you pay for these agents and things like that, things like in GitHub Copilot with Cloud Sonnet, the Cloud Suite, and GPT and things like that. I'll say the qwen2.5-coder and the Granite models, I would put them at the same accuracy and response and such as the GPT models. Even before this, I found that these were not very good. I don't know. I just found these were not very good coders, the GPT models and such, in terms of like response accuracy and such. Responses, often had errors and things like that. So I felt like this is not a very high threshold to beat anyways. Now, when it comes to Cloud Sonnet, okay, yes, there's going to be a huge difference. Worry about using these agentive models, especially like Cloud Sonnet, is you need to know what you are doing, right? And that's kind of how a lot of these AI slop apps come to be. Is someone who doesn't know things about app development or web development tries to make an app catered to users with just a model like this to just do everything for them. So that's how I would feel about the Cloud Suite. Is they're so powerful. So it's like a rocket. You're going to go somewhere, right? So they are really, really powerful. When it comes to comparing the local models to the Cloud Suite, yes, I would say that obviously these are still a lot faster. A lot stronger. I will say though, the nice thing though about hosting locally is obviously there are no limits, right? So even on the paid tier of GitHub Copilot, I have limits on how many of these requests I can do. Here, there are no limits at all. So if you're using AI to code, and obviously you need to know the instructions yourself. You need to know the code and the framework yourself. So if you're able to give those instructions clearly or understand what's going on, then to be honest, you may not notice much of a difference between Cloud Sonnet and some the other models that we mentioned. And you might even enjoy using the local hosted models if you have the computer capacity to do it, because your responses are going to be a lot faster. The only thing I will say about locally hosting, one drawback, is I still have not gotten this agent to work out yet. I don't know what it is, or if that just requires more VRAM or something. I'm not sure, because it seems to crash my Visual Studio Code. So I'm not sure if that just requires more power. But that is another drawback about these, is that I have not been able to get the agent mode working. I'm not sure. Again, also let me know in the comments if anyone has gotten this to work. So you are losing out on that agentive experience. So overall, to kind of recap everything, I am very happy with the models that we went over. And again, as long as I'm able to come up with the instructions that I need and understand the instructions that I need to tell the model, I'm going to be perfectly, fine. And if I don't, then, like any good developer, you need to learn them, right? Don't leave them just to AI to try to give you something. So, like for example, if you do that with Cloud Sonnet, and yes, it's a great model. So, but if you kind of leave it up to the model to decide something like that, let's say you're setting up a web app, and web app requires some understanding, at least some basic understanding of security and such between like authorization tokens and such like that, stuff like that. So if you don't know about those, right, and you just get Cloud Sonnet to try to make you the web app you're going for, and you don't know about these details, it may include those, and the code it provides, it may not. So since I feel comfortable, I can understand those instructions, give them. I'm happy with these so far. So that's about it for this video. Hopefully you found that informative and entertaining. It's quite something. I'm really enjoying this experiment with hosting these models locally. And there is something actually quite exciting coming in part 4. So stay tuned, and hopefully you enjoyed. And please let me know those 2 points I mentioned earlier in the comments. I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say about those, especially the DeepSeek coder. I'm not sure why that has not worked out for me at all. But yeah, thanks.